This video is from the heart, and when I get to some of my stories from my 23 years investing experience, you'll see what I mean. This is investing advice I wish I could go back and give my 18-year-old self, or when I was in my early 20s maybe, because if I would have kept investing £500 per month from 18 to now, I would have been retired at 40 easily, and I'd be living life on my own terms, not working in a job I have zero passion for, stuck in the rat race. I'm going to use my up and down experience as an investor to drive home how important investing is and tell you why we all need to retire as soon as humanly possible. I'll tell you some of my most painful mistakes, but it won't all be negative, as I'll finish with how things have changed dramatically over the last 6 years to demonstrate why you should even bother listening to my little story. What I'm trying to do with this video and this channel in general is to get as many people investing as possible. It's important, and to demonstrate how financial education can potentially change your life forever. So if you'll give me just a few minutes of your time, I'll try my very best to give you as much value as possible. Why we all need to retire as fast as possible. Now you might be thinking, I'm 20 or 25 and I couldn't give a toss about investing for retirement. All I care about is getting a nice car and getting on as many nights out as possible. Hopefully this little story is going to change your mind. Going back to 2007, maybe 2008, I knew in my mid-20s that I needed to change. At the time, I was working with really good people as an electrician, but I really didn't like what I saw. An example is Frank Raw, who was in his mid-60s. Now, I loved Frank, I just hope my work situation didn't mirror his by the time I was his age. Struggling to earn a living as a contractor, I was working most weekends just to bump up my wages to pay the bills. I was working with a guy called Frank, who was really good at his job and had been a contractor literally all his life. He was 64 and was only 12 months from retiring. On a particular cold Sunday morning, and you're talking -10 degrees, we were working outside. As it was a Sunday, it was the last place I wanted to be. We were both working all hours, and we're just trying our best to keep our spirits up. This life was bad enough for a 25-year-old, me, but I really didn't like to see old Frank struggling away at his age. It would be worth it for old Frank, as his big plan was to take his wife of 45 years to their villa in Spain. A villa he proudly told me was just about paid off. I decided on that cold Sunday morning that I had to do something different. I refused to be working the weekends in my 50s and 60s. To make things worse for old Frank, things didn't pan out as he was planning. He did get to retire at 65, but he didn't get to retire in the sunset with his wife. Sadly, his wife had a massive stroke and he became her full-time carer in the UK. His dreams were shattered. Thinking of him happily practicing his Spanish on me at work almost brings a tear to my eye. So if you're in your 20s or 30s, whatever your age, make investing a huge priority so you can retire much earlier than 65. Just imagine retiring in your 50s or even your 40s. This is what drives me every single day, as I want that financial freedom to spend more time with the people I love and more time helping people to achieve their goals in my school community. If you want to learn exactly how to invest, you can join my free investing community on Skool. All you've got to do is type yes below in the comments and you'll get lifetime access. Investor mistakes to avoid. If you haven't made mistakes as an investor, you are going to. It's just a fact of life. But don't look at it as a negative. Try and flip it into a positive. Fail forward and just put every mistake down as a lesson. But I am confident that by learning from my mistakes, you'll make less mistakes, potentially saving you time and money and a lot of emotional pain. Mistake 1. Investing at 18 but then stopping to use the money on a lad's holiday. Knowing what I know now, I would have been retired if I'd had the discipline and financial education to keep investing. To be fair, my parents didn't teach me about money and investing, and it definitely wasn't taught at school. I've had to learn the hard way by trial and error. Mistake 2, buying a property at 23 years of age because of FOMO. I got jealous because 2 of my best mates had bought a house off plan on a new estate and they were bragging about making £20,000 profit. I steamed in and bought a house to make £20,000, paid £130,000, it didn't get valued above £120,000. For at least 10 years, and me and the now Mrs. Duffy had to move into our first home. Not an ideal start, but it worked out in the end. Mistake 3, losing our life savings in 2011, chasing quick easy money in the stock market. It was only £8,000, but it meant everything to me and my little family at the time. Our first daughter was 2 and our second daughter was just about to be born. Plus, we just moved into our second home. Let's just say I wasn't flavour of the month, but my wife has always supported me no matter how many mistakes I've made, and I'm more grateful than she'll ever know. Mistake 4, putting £70,000 into premium bonds, expecting to win £1 million and keeping it there for 3 to 4 years. Interest-wise, we earned 0.5% per annum, absolute joke. Mistake 5, ignoring my cousin when he told me about Bitcoin on Christmas Day in 2015, when Bitcoin was around $300 per coin. Imagine I invested just 10% of my premium bond money into Bitcoin. I'm still fuming with myself about this one. I just want to use this story to make a point about financial literacy, because it can potentially change the game, as I've touched on. You see, my cousin got his master's degree in economics in and around 2008-2009, around the time of the financial crisis. So he knew the financial system had gone tits up. This led to Bitcoin a few years later, and fast forward to 2024 and he is a multi-millionaire. So putting the work in and learning about money and investing does pay off. Imagine getting into crypto now, fully understanding it, picking a few AI cryptos, and over the next few years, it makes you a small fortune. No guarantees, of course, and this is not financial advice. This video doesn't contain any financial advice, but hopefully you get the point. I'm going to leave the mistakes there for now. I've made too many for this video. If you want to know all of my mistakes in more gory detail, you will find all the info within my investing courses in my school community. Again, you can type yes below for lifetime access, or you can find the link in my description on this channel. Everyone likes a comeback. Now, before I get into my little comeback story, I genuinely hope you do like a comeback story, because let's be honest, loads of people are negative and just love negativity. They like it when people mess up and make mistakes. It's just a fact. I'm all about the positive and love to see people do well. In 2018, I started to turn things round because I was sick of working away, then whinging about it to my poor wife. And I was sick about whinging about money. My mantra at the time was, where does our money go? Mrs. D used to love our spreadsheet talks during this period. Really, I'm surprised she stayed with me all these years. Anyway, I got into personal development after listening to Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, and a few others on YouTube. This led to setting goals for the first time in 35 years, and things started to improve. Before personal development, my property portfolio had £50,000 in negative equity. I did have £30,000 in savings, but it was going down fast. And in general, I mourned a lot. After personal development, so really 2019 onwards, I've spent thousands of pounds on courses, property investing courses, how to invest in the stock market, crypto courses, part-time YouTuber academy, etc., etc. I've read hundreds of money and investing books, watched hundreds of YouTube videos, probably thousands. And after 6 years, my property portfolio has gone from minus £50,000 to around £400,000 in equity. My stock portfolio has gone from nothing to around £75,000, and my crypto portfolio has gone up significantly over the last 12 months. Let's just say that. Let's just say I'm very bullish on crypto, and I've invested everything I've been able to since mid-2022. I've had to earn my right to risk, but because of my experience, I'm able to make potentially life-changing profits in crypto over the next few months. This isn't for everyone though, because crypto is volatile and it's hard to take emotionally. Some people prefer index funds, some people prefer just investing into property alone. We're all different as investors. Educate yourself, learn and understand your risk tolerance. Think long and hard about your investing goals, and you will then be able to invest and potentially retire much earlier than poor Frank, who I told you about at the start of this video. Summary. Think about me as an 18-year-old and what would have happened if I'd invested £500 for the next 24 years. In fact, let's put the numbers into a compound interest calculator. You can find this on Google or whatever search engine you prefer. We're going to assume I invested £500 per calendar month for 24 years. We'll also assume I achieved an interest rate of 10% on average by tracking the S&P 500 with a low-cost index fund. This isn't guaranteed, but it's based on 100 years of historical data. After putting the figures into the compound interest calculator, I would now have a total of £594,845. Not quite enough to retire, but it would give me serious options, like paying my mortgage off and buying some more rental properties. So the question is, after all this, have I convinced you that investing is massively important. Let me know in the comments, because if it hasn't, I'll have to modify and improve my message. If you found this video valuable, hit the like button and subscribe to keep fully updated investing wise. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.